Hi guys, welcome to Savannah Knits. I'm Savannah and I live in Utah in the United States. And this is my knitting podcast all about what I make, the projects that I'm working on, the things that I finish, and knitting plans for the future. And today I have one finished object, a couple works in progress, including some new ones, and just a life update. So let's get into it. Alright, I do have a finished object today. I finished my waffle cone socks. These are just basic socks on size 1, US size 1, and the yarn is Lovejoy Fibers in waffle cone, and then the toe is Yarn Bee Pigment and Fiber Green Thumb. So, first time doing a contrast toe like I talked about last week, and I think it turned out really cute, and I'm excited to do that in more of my socks. These will be a gift for someone. Don't want to say who, just in case. But I think they turned out really well. As I talked about last week as well, I finally found the size that fits me. These fit pretty perfectly. I was worried that blocking would make them bigger because they're superwash, because it's a superwash yarn, but blocking didn't really affect the fit at all, and I'm just really happy with how they turned out. I started these on July 17th and finished them on August 18th, so a little bit over a month, which is a little bit of a long time for me, but as I mentioned last week too, I just didn't knit them for a while, put them down for a couple weeks and got back to them. So, yep, that is my one finished object. There are both of them. So pretty. This variegated yarn is I'm really impressed with it. There's like no pooling. It looks really even throughout. I love all the colors together. They really complement. There's even some splashes of kind of like that hot pink right there, maybe like a bright red. And I kind of love that irregularity. So yeah, just really happy with this. I love Joy Fibers, I think is a Utah dyer, and so a lot of her yarns are in my local yarn shops, so she's definitely a buyer that I would, or a dyer that I would buy from again, because I really enjoyed working on these. So that is my finished object for this week. Alright, next let's move into my works in progress. I've made quite a lot of progress on my Courage Henley by Tori Yu. I have a lot to show. So last time we talked, I had just joined in the round, so I think I was around here. And since then I have knit the whole body and the ribbing, and I have also done the collar and the button band, the buttonholes. It was my first time doing a Henley type button band, and to be honest, it wasn't like super easy. I mean, like doing it was easy, but Tori in the pattern has you pick up one stitch for every single row right here, and I'm used to picking up 2 out of every 3 stitches, or sometimes 3 out of every 4, depending on what each pattern says. So it was kind of a lot to squish in there in the button band. I had to like consciously try to pick up as many stitches as I could to get this many stitches per right here, but I think it turned out great. And then right now I'm working on the sleeves, so I've got this far. This is my first time doing decreases on the outside of the sleeve. I've only ever done them on the inside, and I don't know how well you can see with all my stitch markers, but it makes this tidy little line down the outside of it. So that's a cool detail that I've never done before. I have finished the decreases on this sleeve, and now I'm just knitting for a couple of inches straight, and then I'll do some ribbing. I probably should mention that I'm using 5mm needles. I'm using Cascade 220 in Doe Skin Heather. I have mentioned this before, but I love this yarn. It's just, yeah, it's soft enough being a non-superwash for me, and yeah, I just like it as a worsted weight. So this is my third time doing this sleeve. I have really short arms, apparently. I never knew this until I started knitting, but every single sweater pattern, you know, in my early days of knitting, I made sweaters in acrylic yarn because it was cheap and because I didn't know a lot of places to buy wool. I was just going to my local, you know, Joann or wherever, and they mostly just have acrylic, and I thought that wool would be too hot for me, so I made most of my sweaters in acrylic. Hey, this is Editing Savannah. I wanted to explain the acrylic thing a little bit because I have nothing against people who want to use acrylic. I think it definitely has its place in the yarn world and the knitting and crocheting world. I think it's a great fiber, especially for people that have allergies or just prefer the feel of acrylic. It's definitely more budget friendly. Personally, when I wear acrylic, I get so staticky, my hair stands on end, I touch metal and I get electrical shock. Like, I just can't handle acrylic personally, but that is to say nothing against people who love working with acrylic. Which was good looking back because a lot of them, the sleeves are just way too long on me. I would just follow the pattern because I didn't really know how to modify it, and they're all too long. Apparently I have short arms, so I have to modify every single sweater to be at least an inch shorter, sometimes more. So this one, Tori has let me modify it, and I'm gonna have to do 1.5 inches shorter, and the decreases are supposed to be after the elbow, and so I had to do some math to figure out, you know, how long do I need to knit before I get to those decreases, and then if I knit those decreases, am I going to have enough room before the ribbing? So I don't really do math very well, but luckily my husband is a math teacher, so he helped me think through it all. And yeah, so I figured out that if I take off those 1.5 inches in this just straight stockinette portion, I should have enough room with all the decreases to get those. I think I'm decreasing every 4th row and then going straight. But the first time that I did it, I did the decreases totally wrong. So I was doing them every 3 rows instead of 4 rows. As I said, math is not my thing. Numbers are not my thing. So I had to rip back and start again. And actually, okay, so I've done the sleeve twice. I didn't have to do it a 3rd time. I thought I would have to because I thought that I was starting the decreases too early. Like, I thought they would be above my elbow, but it turned out okay. So, yep. I should be finishing the sleeve hopefully today. That's my goal, at least. And then I just have the other sleeve to do. Still some stitches on hold right here for this has a saddle shoulder construction. So for the sleeves, you just pick up stitches at the bottom of the armhole, go up, put these stitches back on your needles and knit them, and go pick up stitches on this side. So I will be doing that sleeve next. I love leaving the sleeves for last because they're my least favorite part, but it motivates me to get them done because I will have a beautiful finished sweater at the end. I know some people like to join in the round, and then when they run out of a skein of yarn, then they start doing the sleeves. I can't do that. I would just stop the sweater and never start it again if I did the sleeves in the middle of it. But never say never. Maybe I'll do that one day and find that it is a perfect way for me. So I also got buttons. I was looking through my button stash and I found some black ones because I have to have 5 buttons and it was hard to find 5 at the same time. Or like 5 matching ones. So I found 5 black ones and I didn't love the contrast with the black. I don't love black buttons in general. I don't know why. They just seem too like stark compared to yarn, too kind of unnatural to me. So I did get these buttons. I don't know if you can see, from Joanne yesterday. It came in a assorted pack, and again I had to dig through to find 5 matching ones. But these are coconut buttons and I think that they will go pretty well. So that's kind of what it's looking like. So I think, and I didn't get any thread to sew these on, but I'm thinking since Cascade is kind of a splitty yarn, it's a 2-ply, no, it's a 4-ply, right? Yeah, 4-ply. I'm thinking I'll just split some of the fibers of a piece of yarn and just use one of the plies to sew the buttons on. I've never done that before. I've never heard of anyone else doing that before, so hopefully it goes well. If you know any advice against that, let me know before I do this. But that's my plan because I don't want to buy thread, or I don't think I have any matching thread. Maybe I have some brown. I don't know. I'll have to check, but that's my current plan. I started this on August 8th, so it has been on my needles for 12 days. I'm really happy with the progress that I've made. I've just been knitting a ton, and I think it will be a perfect sweatshirt for fall and winter, but especially for fall when I can just throw it on over the top of a t-shirt when I'm going outside and it's a little bit more chilly. So yep, this is the update from my Courage Henley. My second work in progress is I'm making the penny gloves by Petite Knit. My plan is to make this pattern 3 times, one for myself, one for my dad, and one for my husband. So I started my husband's. This is just the cuff of the glove so far. I haven't made a ton of progress. I think I started these either yesterday or the day before, so this is just a couple days worth of progress. I think I started them yesterday. This is a Heritage 6, Cascade Heritage 6 in the color charcoal. And this yarn is so soft. So soft. I think it will be perfect for gloves. This looks really small, so I really hope it fits him. Maybe I should try it on mine. Yeah. Okay. I think I'll just block it and make it a little bit stretched out a little bit for him. He's also the guinea pig, so I am gonna have him try these on because they're his Christmas present, but he might have to just try them on early so I can make sure they're gonna work for my dad's Christmas present as well. But for me, I think they'll work perfectly. I have some pink yarn left over from my Doppio that I made a couple months ago that I want to use for these gloves. They're fingerless, which both my dad and my husband love to use while driving or shoveling snow, anything like that, so I think they'll get a lot of use out of them. I am using US 3 needles, so 3.25s on Magic Loop, and obviously haven't been able to work on these a ton because I don't want my husband to see them. He doesn't know what color I chose. He knows what he's getting, but he doesn't know what color, so I want to keep those a surprise until they are all finished. So I've only been able to work on these during nap time when he's at work and my boys are asleep, or if my boys are watching something, but I usually try to reserve that time for getting things done around the house or my main project, which is right now the Courage Henley. So that is work in progress, whip number 2. And then whip number 3 is another pair of socks. I was finishing up the waffle cone socks, and my son, who turns 4 next week, he was begging me for socks, and I've never made them anything because I didn't think that they would wear it, and honestly I'm a little skeptical that he's going to wear socks. He hates wearing socks unless we're going out. Maybe this will be the change if I make him some socks. But he really wants some blue socks for his birthday. So I started making him some. So I'm just doing him some shorty socks. So I have the cuff, and then I have the heel flap that I just finished this morning. So I'll start on the heel and the gusset decreases and all of that. This is Malabrigo Arroyo in greenish blue. This is my second time working with this yarn. I have this much left. It's beautiful. I made some socks for me earlier this year in this yarn. It's a sport weight, but I'm kind of using it as a DK. So yeah, using 3.25 millimeter magic loop to make these. I am using Summerlee Knits, her basic DK sock pattern from her book, The Sock Project. So yeah, and they're going so fast. I'm doing a size small. I started with the kid size and I could not get it over his foot. He is a very tall child and he has large feet as a result. So I'm doing a size adult small for him and it is fitting him great so far. So hopefully that stays true. And then I think after these I'm gonna have to make my other son some because he was a little bit hesitant about the idea. He's like, no, I don't want any socks. Especially when I had asked him to measure his foot. He's 2. But now that he's saying that his older brother is getting some, I think he's gonna want some. So I think I'll have to make him some as well. But I can use the kid size for him, so hopefully it'll go even faster because that's a smaller size. But I also need to make sure that I have yarn because I don't know if I have any soft DK yarn left. I don't know. We'll see how much of this I have left over. But the pattern says I need more than this to do a size adult small socks, but since I'm doing shorties, maybe I'll have enough. I don't know. I'm kind of bad at estimating yarn. So, yarn quantities that I need. So yeah, there is my sock project for during the days downstairs. Okay, we have kind of a shorter episode today. But I do have a fall knitting plans video in the works. I want to warn you that they're not really fall-ish. They're just things that I personally want to get to this fall. I call it, in the reading world, we have TBRs, which is to be read, so books that you want to read in the near future. And I joke that I have a TBK, which is to be knit, things that I want to knit in the near future. So I'll have a video coming out for that because there are a lot of things that I want to get to, especially with gift knitting. I just really want to get on top of that this year so I'm not having to do a bunch of Christmas gift knitting in November and December. I want to be able to relax. I'm one of those people that gets all their Christmas shopping done early if I can. It's kind of hard with younger kids because their interests change so much and I want to make sure they're getting stuff that they will actually love, and I feel like my boys change their minds about what they love every 2 weeks, so we'll see how close I can get to being done before November. But a quick reading, watching life update is I am still rereading The Hurricane Wars. I'm a little bit over halfway, that is going well. I'll show the cover real quick. This is actually the UK cover. I love it more than the US cover, so got this one. And then I've been watching old Top Gear episodes with my husband, and it's been a lot of fun. I know nothing about cars, but they are hilarious and it's a good laugh to end the day with. We are in 2014, episodes that released then, so, which doesn't seem that long ago, and then when I think, wow, that was 10 years ago, that's insane to me. That's crazy. But yeah, been watching that, and then hasn't been much of life update, just doing the normal things, playing with my kids, taking them to parks, spending time with family, all the good things. So I hope you're all knitting something fun. Let me know what you're knitting, what you're up to, anything new that has happened with you guys. And yeah, I hope you have a great week. I hope you have a great week of knitting too, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!